Did you know that trimming just a handful of everyday habits might be the secret to hitting 100 or more? Even if you're eating right, keeping active, and looking after yourself, there are some things folks do on autopilot that can sneakily erode their health and lifespan over time. Longevity pros pretty much all say that if you're aiming to make it past the century mark, figuring out what to steer clear of is every bit as crucial as knowing what to embrace. And get this, the real shocker is that a bunch of these habits come across as totally innocent, even routine, until you dig into how they mess with you long term. In this video, we're diving into 5 things that experts recommend dialing back on if you want to stack the odds in favor of a long, lively existence. Each one's a sneaky but potent factor in how your body and brain handle the years, and easing up on them can spark some real shifts in your vitality, stamina, and attitude. A few might ring a bell with what you've already guessed, while others could totally flip your script on daily life. Hang tight till the end, 'cause the final one's probably the biggest curveball, and it might just be the ticket to not only tacking on extra years, but injecting more zest into them. All right, let's jump in. Number 1, lingering in one spot for hours without stirring. You know, one of those sneaky routines that can really sneak up on your well-being once you're past 70 is parking yourself in a comfy spot for ages without budging. Maybe it's sinking into that cozy armchair with a good book, or binge-watching your favorite shows feels like no big deal, right? But when those sessions stack up daily, the toll on your system adds up in ways you might not notice at first. All that stillness messes with your blood flow, especially down in your legs, leading to puffiness, tightness, or worse, bumping up the chances of clots forming. Those key muscles in your midsection and legs start to fade away gradually, which throws off your stability and self-reliance as time goes on. Plus, staying glued to one position drags your metabolism into low gear, making it tougher for your body to handle blood sugar levels or melt away fats, paving the way for stuff like diabetes or heart troubles. And here's the kicker. Even if you're hitting the gym or walking briskly most days, those marathon sit-fests can wipe out a chunk of those gains. Look, it's not like you have to swear off sitting forever. The trick is chopping it into smaller bits, so your body's always a little tuned in and on the move. This hits home extra hard for folks in their golden years because that natural muscle dip we call sarcopenia speeds up when you're idle for too long. Before you know it, everyday stuff like tackling a flight of stairs, popping up from a seat, or hauling in the shopping bags turns into a real chore. That slow erosion of power also amps up the odds of taking a tumble, which is hands down one of the scariest risks for seniors out there. Fixing this doesn't call for boot camp workouts or fancy plans, just simple tweaks. Try popping up every half hour or so, doing a quick stretch, or pacing the room for a minute. Little things count, like stepping in place while the kettle boils, or swinging your arms lightly during ad breaks. If your pastimes keep you planted like knitting or puzzles, set an alarm to nudge you into motion briefly. The idea is to weave in activity so it feels effortless, not like a scheduled drill. By scattering those sedentary stretches, you're safeguarding your ticker, your strength, and your get up and go. These tiny shifts compound, building a solid base for staying spry and on your own terms way into the future. It's not ditching relaxation altogether. It's ensuring today's ease doesn't rob tomorrow's vigor. Whew! That one always gets me thinking about how we take motion for granted sometimes. Number 2, loading up on big meals way too late in the evening. Grabbing a hefty dinner or snack right before hitting the hay might feel like old hat. No harm done, particularly if it's been your go-to for decades. But once you cross 70, your system's not as zippy at handling food anymore, and those nighttime feasts can start wearing you down without fanfare. As we get older, digestion hits the brakes naturally, so stuff hangs around in your gut longer than it used to. Wolfing down a lot just before lights out forces your body into overdrive when it ought to be chilling and mending itself overnight. That can spark heartburn, tummy woes, or toss-and-turn sleep, which then drags down your pep. your spirits, and even your defenses against bugs. Oh, and don't overlook how it plays with your waistline and energy. Burn calories scarfed late tend to pile on as extra padding, especially with less movement around bedtime. Bit by bit, that can lead to creeping pounds that burden your knees, your pump, and the rest of you. For lots of older folks, even a modest weight creep makes staying nimble a battle, and it cranks up threats like sky-high pressure, sugar issues, or cardiac woes. Late munching also throws a wrench in your inner timer, that circadian beat governing sleep, hormones, gut work, and cell fixes. Mess with your eating times, and your setup might fumble these basics. So, bumping your biggest bite to earlier hours and going easy after dark can perk you up noticeably. If hunger strikes late, it often means daytime eats were skimpy on staying power, maybe short on protein or roughage. Whip up a solid supper with lean meats, greens and hearty grains to hold you over and curb those midnight urges. Still peckish? Opt for something feather-light, like a fresh apple, some almonds, or warm chamomile brew. These tide you without taxing your insides. Shaking off a habit this ingrained might feel rocky initially, but the payoffs show fast. Deeper Z's, bouncier mornings, and an all-around lighter vibe. This isn't hardcore dieting or going without. It's tweaking so your body teams up with you instead of fighting back. Hey, if this is resonating and you're still tuned in, drop a 2 in the comments to say hi. And if you're not subbed yet, hit that button and ring the bell. You won't miss a thing. Your cheers keep us pumping out stuff that educates and motivates. Okay, onward we go. Number 3. Getting stuck, ruminating on old what-ifs. Clinging to those nagging regrets is kinda like lugging around an overstuffed suitcase on every trip you take. Each shoulda coulda piles on more heft, and eventually, it doesn't just weigh on your heart but starts dragging your whole self down, body included. Past 70, you ought to feel freer, not heavier in spirit and step. Still, plenty of folks in their later chapters catch themselves looping through ancient slip-ups or roads not taken, almost like they're sentencing themselves to relive it all. Fact is, obsessing over yesteryear doesn't rewrite it. It just siphons off juice from right now. That spark could fuel savoring today's joys, nurturing bonds, or diving into fresh interests instead. Regrets usually drag along buddies like blame, embarrassment, and self-doubt, and those can nibble at your health on the sly. Research points out how ongoing tension from bottled-up feels can spike your pressure, sap your fight against illness, and trim your timeline. Flipping the script to release opens doors to calmer, more driven days. A top tactic for shaking it loose is flipping the lens. View those picks not as flops, but as life coaches. Every call, spot on or off base, molded the you of today. You've scooped up insights that kids half your age couldn't grasp without the miles. That viewpoint's a treasure, and passing it along can morph old aches into assets. Gratitude's another winner. When if only creeps in, pivot to I'm glad for vibes. It doesn't wipe history, but lightens the load. Take my pal George, 76 from Toronto, he'd quip. If I'd nailed every choice, I'd have skipped the bumps that built my backbone. His road had detours aplenty, like anyone's, but he grew to cherish the twists for the gems they uncovered. Stuff he'd never swap. Dropping regrets isn't denying them. It's owning up, gleaning the lessons, then laying them aside to stride ahead lighter. Your post-70 stretch can shine brightest if you're all in on the now. Yesterday's done its bit. This moment's yours. Yeah, it's easier said than done sometimes, but man, the freedom's worth it. Number 4, packing your schedule too tight with yeses. Once you're over 70, your hours turn into pure gold, and spending them wisely colors how good those days feel. But heaps of seniors keep nodding along to every ask out of routine, duty, or not wanting to let people down. Could be signing on for weekly charity gigs, showing up at gatherings that bore you stiff, or always bailing out kin while skimping on your downtime. Sure, keeping ties and hustle's key, But overloading zaps your spark and snatches the liberty you've earned through the grind. Back in your prime, a jammed planner might have been par for the course: jobs, kids, neighborhood stuff. Now, it's all about equilibrium. Yes to all leaves zilch for your true wants. It ramps stress too, and even mild buildup over months can ding your shields, your shut-eye, and your chill factor. The real eye-opener here is realizing no stands alone, no essays needed to guard your calendar. Boundaries carve out room for recharge, pondering, and soul-feeding pursuits, like lazy coffee with a novel, pottering in the yard, or lingering chats with dear ones. Rather than dashing obligation to obligation, consider my neighbor Clara, 81 from London. She'd been the fix-it queen for ages, always on call, but she hit a wall of exhaustion and saw she was missing her passions. Once she started declining some and prioritizing her joys, her zip bounced back, her agenda thinned, but her fulfillment swelled. Shielding your time's not greedy, it's honoring yourself and owning that this phase favors richness over rush. Pick engagements smartly, and you unlock intentional living, with ample breathing room to relish each bit instead of blitzing by. If this one's hitting home and you're hanging on, comment 4 below to check in. Not subbed? Do it now and tap the bell for updates. Your backing fuels more videos that enlighten and uplift. Let's keep rolling. Number 5. Stacking your wellness up against everyone else's. It's human to peek at how buddies or folks next door are faring health-wise, but non-stop matchups can erode your serenity bit by bit. Beyond 70, everybody's frame spins its own tale. Some hold on to vigor for ages, others hit hurdles quicker. This ain't a race to age best. It's recognizing paths diverge wildly. Slipping into comparison mode blinds you to your gains, fixating on perceived shortfalls. I've witnessed it loads. A friend hears about a peer jogging, marathons, and slumps, ignoring their own steady strolls. Reality? That peer could be battling unseen woes, while you've got edges they'd envy. The pitfalls shifting from, "How do I thrive with what I've got?" to a phony tally where nobody triumphs. Look at Sophia, 79 from Vancouver. She griped that her cousin still hiked mountains while she leaned on a walker. But logging her daily wins, like pain-free errands, veggie-packed lunches, or laughs with grandkids, showed her world brimmed with vitality beyond peaks. She claimed joy in her unique stride, ditching the chase. Quitting the contrasts lets you zero in on personal wins, be it bounding up steps easily, weeding the plot for hours, or rising limber. Your health's custom-made from your backstory, picks, and fate twists. Honor it, nurture it, toast the triumphs that click for you, not borrowed benchmarks. This tweak cuts tension and fosters richer thanks for the vessel that's hauled you along. It's a game changer. Trust me. Wrapping it up, aiming for a lengthy, robust run isn't merely piling on calendar flips. It's infusing those spans with real spark. If any of these patterns rang true for you, no need to fret. Tweaks work wonders anytime, and minor ones can revamp your daily groove. Pros in the field hammer home that it's rarely the blockbuster moves defining your span. Mostly the steady, subtle choices that either fortify or fray you quietly. Picture your existence as a backyard patch. No overhaul frenzy, just nurture spot by spot, and soon the lot thrives. Ditto for your form and thoughts. You chase headway, not flawlessness. Key reminder: growing older's no contest. No matching strides with the pack, no showboating for applause. Your trail's solo. The aim's not eternity, it's savoring deeply while you can. That calls for conserving your oomph, picking supportive routines, and ditching drags. I've crossed paths with 80s and 90s crowd who greet dawn with wonder, thanks, and gusto, not dwelling on limits, but maximizing possibles. That outlook flips everything. You can grab it too. Begin from here. Leverage your toolkit and inch toward a brimming content flow. Thanks for sticking around today. Spill in the comments one takeaway and your plan to to roll with it. Your shares fire us up big time. If this clicked, smash like, sub, share keeps the helpful vibes coming. Catch you next time.